I generally dislike Christmas. I generally dislike the holiday season as a whole, but specifically, I dislike Christmas. I have no interest. I am not interested, right? I would prefer not to. If you gave me a choice, and the choice was the current world that we live in, or a world where Christmas just doesn't exist, right? And the time period from whenever the fuck people start doing Christmas things, which is way earlier than it should be, until, January something, when people take their Christmas decorations down. That time period, if you gave me the choice between the current world that we live in and a world where nothing Christmas related existed, I would live in a world with nothing Christmas related. If it were up to me, right? It's not up to me. I don't have the choice. Okay? I don't get to choose. I am obligated. I am forced against my will to live in a Christmas world from, at the very least, from the end of November until the end of December. At the very least, at the absolute minimum, I have to spend 1 month of my life every single year dealing with Christmas. Against my will. Against my will, I am forced to live in a Christmas world for 8% of my life. Nearly 10% of my life. I am forced against my will to live in a Christmas world. Think about that. For nearly 10% of my life, I am forced against my will to do things I don't want to do. Listen to things I don't want to listen to. See things I don't want to see. Now, of course, right? It bears mentioning there are people in significantly worse life circumstances than what I have. The complaints that I have, the arguments that I have are minuscule compared to people who have actual problems, right? I agree. But I'm not talking about that. Now am I? I'm not talking about the scope of all of the problems that exist in the world. I'm not here to talk about all of the problems that exist in the world, because if I was, this would be a much, much longer conversation, wouldn't it? What I'm here to talk about is that I don't like Christmas. Specifically, I don't like Christmas. I don't enjoy Christmas. It's not fun for me. It doesn't bring me joy. It doesn't bring anything positive into my life. What it brings into my life, what Christmas gives to me, is an obligation to buy things for people that I don't want to buy things for. And it also gives me an obligation to receive things from people that I don't want to receive things from. And the things that I receive are not things that I want. And it gives me an obligation to pretend that I give a shit about the things that people are giving me. Because you are obligated to do that. In the world that we live in, you can't just say, I don't give a shit about this thing that you've given me. Right? You can't just open a gift and say, I don't fucking care about this at all. You can't say that. Right? You literally, you are not allowed to say that. So what you have to say instead, the obligation that you are given as a result of opening the quote-unquote present that you are given. The obligation that you are given is an obligation to say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really like it. Thank you. It's great. And what will actually happen instead is that you will take this item, whatever it is. The specifics of the item don't matter. The item itself is worthless. You will take this item that you are given and you, if you're a better person than me, you will keep it. You will maybe use it. You will put it in storage. You'll put it in a closet where you never have to see it again, right? Fine. Me personally, 90%, 90+% of what I receive for Christmas will go literally directly into the trash. Actually into the trash. I will put it into the trash because I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't need it. It doesn't do anything for me. I would rather not have it. I would rather that it didn't exist in the first place. So when I receive a Christmas gift gift, quote unquote, when I receive a Christmas gift and it goes directly into the trash, what is the point, right? What is the purpose of the entire thing? The only purpose is the joy that it gives somebody else to give me something, I guess. I don't know. I struggle with that. And additionally, right, of course, I have an obligation, essentially a requirement to buy Christmas gifts for other people, right? Now, to be clear, to be fair, these are other people that I love, right? These are my family members, right? I'm very happy to have them, of course, right? I'm not happy to give them gifts, and I'm certainly not happy to receive gifts from them. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is the least enjoyable thing and 10 is the most enjoyable thing, I think that receiving gifts from other people is roughly a 2 to 4 on that scale. Of course, there's any number of very unenjoyable things that could happen, right? Getting shot, getting tortured, right? Stuff like that. Very unenjoyable. Those things are obviously a 1 on the scale. Compared to those things, receiving a Christmas gift, it's like it would be very hard to say that's a 2 necessarily. But I really don't enjoy it. Right? I strongly, firmly fucking hate it. Right? So I personally would declare it to be we'll say a 2 to 4 on the enjoyability scale. Giving gifts, I think giving gifts is on I would say like a 3 to 4 on the unenjoyability scale. I don't enjoy it. I strongly, firmly dislike it, right? I think that I dislike it less than receiving gifts, but I still very, 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 very strongly dislike it, right? Probably a 3. We'll call it a 3. I think, okay, so thinking about it, right? I think we call giving gifts a 2 to 3 on the scale, and we call receiving gifts a 3 on the scale. Unenjoyable, dislike, I don't like it, right? I don't like giving gifts. I don't like receiving gifts. I don't like anything Christmas related. And I am forced to, against my will, engage in these things for essentially the entire month of December. You can avoid most of it for most of the month, right? But of course, like around Christmas time specifically, you don't really have any choice. You have to engage in it, unless you have family that doesn't require you to engage in it, in which case I'm happy for you, right? You should consider that to be a positive. There are a large number of people that don't have to deal with their families around Christmas time. And those people should consider that to be a positive. They really should. Not that there's anything particularly wrong or bad about my family. I don't dislike them. My family is fine, right? I would just rather not have to deal with any of this, anything Christmas related at all. But we have no choice, do we? We have to do it whether we like it or not, for the most part. There comes a time in your life eventually where you don't have to deal with it anymore. I think that time is generally identified as a negative thing. Okay. It's not fair or correct to say that I look forward to that time, but from a Christmas perspective specifically, I definitely look forward to that time. From a Christmas perspective specifically, I very, very, very strongly look forward to a time when I don't have to receive gifts anymore, and I don't have to give gifts anymore. That would be incredible. That would be absolutely amazing if I never had to give or receive gifts ever again. That would be incredible.